Hello and welcome to Pembrokeshire, and this is the official second year anniversary vlog for the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Becca. The little dog that's down there and you might hear barking is Millie, and then my partner Andrew is out taking photographs, which is kind of what he does, and he doesn't mind making the odd cameo appearance in the videos, but mostly it's just me and Millie. I had some comments on some of my last fibre arts videos that people were missing the vlogs. So as we're kind of 2-year anniversary, I thought, you know what, let's do a vlog. We're at Lower Town, it's low tide, so we're going to do some beach combing, but there's lots of other things that we do during the week, so I'm going to take you along and show you some of them. Okay, let's turn the camera around, see what we can find. I've just found a bottle top and the dog is trying to chew it. She thinks it's a toy. Millie. There we go. Andrew is up there setting up his tripod on his new mobility scooter. The old, very kind of big off-road one finally died, so we've bought a new little one. And I'll just turn the camera around a little bit so you can see where we are. And we've got the very picturesque houses, and then the sort of rowing club, and there's a cafe there, and this is Lower Town Fishguard, and you can bring your yacht in here if you're a yachty type, and it's very lovely. So we're just going to walk along here and eyes down for a full house. We don't find anything complete here generally because it's just rocks, and so anything sort of crockery or glass gets completely smashed up. And that's a bit of a marmalade jar, ceramic marmalade jar. Probably don't need that in my life. I shall leave that for someone else. Haha. Bit of pressed glass. I'm not crazy on that. I really like to find what they call pirate glass. You do get it here. So there's another piece of crockery. Nothing very exciting. Oh, that's quite nice. Bit of green, what looks like spongeware. I normally like the blue and white, but that's quite nice, the green. We'll take that. It's a pretty colour, but I don't know, it's not very worn. I don't think I want to take that really. I don't think there's anything I could do with that. And then what's this? No, that can stay as well. I still haven't bought a new pair of boots, so I do actually have a bit of a leak in this boot, so I'm getting a wet foot. Ho-hum. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yep, that can come with the collection. Ooh, button. Could well be a modern one. Yeah, that is definitely a modern one. But it would be made of plastic, so I'm going to take it and put it in the bin so it's not in the sea anymore. Last time we were down here, we met some artists who were also beachcombing, and they told me that this spot was quite good for the pirate glass. So I'm just going to kind of go up and down and see if I can find any. Well, that's ceramic, but quite what it is, I don't know. It's quite an interesting shape. I think that can stay here. Oh, now that's quite good fun. The glaze is really damaged, but the colours are nice. That can go in the bag. Now that's really nicely weathered. I mean, that looks like it's probably a tile. Really like that. Gonna take that. So it's more of this very thick earthenware. That's lovely. So the tide's coming in, so we're just going to call it a day here and go for a little drive, and you can come too. We're heading a few miles up the coast to the Preseli Mountains, but on the way we've got to make a bit of a stop for something very important, which I will show you later. The Preselis are famous as being the place where the bluestones from Stonehenge came from, and you will see a very distinctive colour when you go up onto the mountain and see the stones. You will also see quite a lot of Welsh mountain sheep who really do think that they have the right of way rather than any cars that might happen upon their path. From mid-July all the way through August, the Preselis are covered in beautiful heather, and you will start to see a purple mist across the whole landscape. Many of the ponies and sheep are running wild, not fenced in, so it's very important if you're taking dogs with you on a walk, they must be kept on a lead. Many of the wild ponies have given birth, so there's a lot of foals around who are adorable, but they are still wild, so you mustn't approach them. So we've come up on top of Dinas Mountain, and I'm sure you noticed the sheep. The dog is a bit excited. She doesn't get out up here because the sheep are roaming free and the horses are roaming free. So we literally just come and park up and just have a little look, and quite often eat our picnic up here. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just show you the view. We can see for miles here. Just down in the bottom of the picture is what's called Newport Bay, and around the coast you head towards Cardigan, and then in the very distance there is the Llyn Peninsula, which is in North Wales. This really is the perfect antidote for the hustle and bustle of the seaside towns this time of the year. After a perfect picnic lunch, it's time to turn round and head back down the mountain, back towards Fishguard, and then across the bay and home, where there are many jobs we all have to do. But it was a lovely little breath of fresh air and just a bit of time to recenter and get ready for the busy week ahead. It feels like the whole county is stretched out in front of us here, but soon we will drop down into the valleys and along the winding lanes and back towards the relative civilization of Fishguard and home beyond Fishguard. Well, back home, and I did say I would show you the treasure that we stopped off to buy, and it was in fact Pembrokeshire new potatoes. And we do grow, a bit of our own veg, but we've eaten all our potatoes that we grew, and so if I can find proper Pembrokeshire new potatoes, I do buy them because they are delicious. Yummy. Can't wait. Anyway, I think that's me done for today, and I will see you tomorrow. It is annual vaccination day for the little dog, and she's just sat there she knows exactly where we are, so she's gone very quiet. She really doesn't want to get out. However, it must be done, so I'll be back in a little moment, and then once she has had her shots and had her health check, then we're going to go for a walk. But it's raining, and she doesn't really do rain. Anyway, I will see you when she's had her shot. Well, there is little Millie, and she is fine after her veterinary experience. Hello, Millie, Millie. Good girl. She just doesn't really like the rain very much. She will get a bit sleepy, and she'll be sleepy for about 48 hours. But at the moment, obviously, she's just fine, but complaining because I'm making her walk in the rain. Well, it looks like there is a tree down, or the branch of a tree here. I mean, we can get past by the looks of it. But man, we've just had such windy weather. Oh, I think it's a branch rather than the whole thing. But still, I mean, if you were walking along here and that came down, that would be quite serious, I think. You know, and kids walk along here, and, you know, parents pushing push chairs. Yeah, that's a bit scary. Well, the rain is getting a little bit heavier, so we're not going to go very far. We'll go back in a minute, because otherwise the dog would just refuse to talk to me completely. Not only have I taken her to the vets, but I'm making her walk in the rain. She will not be happy with me. Well, I've just seen a thrush on the side of the path. Didn't get the camera out quick enough to take a photo of it, but they're great birds, really love them. Anyway, I don't mind walking in the rain. I tell you, if you live in the UK and you don't go out when it rains, you'd literally never leave the house. Anyway, time to turn round and head back to the little house. Are you a sleepy doggy? Are you feeling a bit sleepy? Oh dear. It's still raining, and that is my pot of natural dyeing that I let cool overnight, sat on the table in the rain. Now, as I said, I don't really mind going out in the rain, but the phone that I film on really doesn't like going out in the rain. So I think I'm going to have to bring it inside the conservatory to have a look at it. Or maybe I'll just keep the phone inside the conservatory. Can I film from the conservatory? Maybe that's what I'll do. It is a little bit chaotic in here, and it's raining, so you can probably hear that on the roof. And my neighbour is having a bit of work done, so you can probably hear that. So how much of this video I'll actually be able to use, I don't know. Anyway, I've got that dyeing has come in and is just sat draining, and I've got some great results, so I will show you that in a minute. But I just thought I would kind of share some of the chaos that's going on. I do try and kind of clear the decks a little bit when I'm actually filming a more formal video, but this is just kind of how it is at the moment in here. So what have I got? So I am an incredibly slow knitter, so this has been on the needles for months, but it's fine because, you know, it's not a competition to see who can knit the most. It really isn't. And this is Gotland that is on the channel. So I bought it last May. It's on the channel being washed and carded and spun. And I really didn't know what to do with it. So I turned it into that. And this is all I've got left, which is not going to be enough. So in here, in my kind of wool storage system, which is an old pillowcase, I have stuff to be carded. So that, I think, is what I'm going to do. Although I also want to sort out that natural dyeing. I want to pick the tomatoes because we're having curry tonight, and I'm going to make some chichomba to go with it. And I need to pick the tomatoes. It's raining, and yeah, and it's kind of messy in here, and I haven't vacuumed, and I haven't finished the washing up from this morning. You know, that's just life, isn't it? That is just life. Right, I think before I start playing, and I'm desperate to do this, but I really have to get a bit of housework done. So I'll come back to you in a bit, I think. And maybe it will have stopped raining and we won't have the sound of the rain on the roof. We'll see. Anyway, bye for now. My natural dyeing experiment just needs a quick rinse, and this was dyed with apple leaves, and I'm going to rinse it a couple of times, let it dry before I decide what I'm actually going to make out of it. So there is all sorts of DIY going on across the way. I don't know how much of that you're going to be able to hear, but the rain is kind of got to mizzle stage, so that's not making a sound on the roof. And it's the time of the day which is my time to sit down and just do a bit of fibre arts, or whatever it is that I'm doing, my little bit of creative time. So I've probably got an hour and a half before I need to walk the dog again. Not that she looks like she wants to go out for a walk, but I'm sure she will when it comes to it. And then start preparing our evening meal. So I have Gotland and Carders. So I'm going to hand pick this Gotland, which is clean and scoured, but actually still quite a lot of what I would call VM, vegetative matter. And so I'm literally just kind of pulling apart to try and get some of this VM out of it. And then I'm going to turn it into rolags and spin a bit, hopefully long draw, because that is how I'd spun the other stuff. So I really do need to spin it in the same sort of way. And it's quite a chunky spin. There are a few second cuts in amongst this as well. So a bit of work to do, but I will just carry on and chat and work. So, and I realised I was looking down. You probably couldn't see what I was doing. So I'll just angle the camera down a little bit so you can actually see what is going on. This is a little bit rough and ready, this. It's not quite like combing it. And if I had a drum carder, it would be a bit prettier. But it's fine, it works. It takes quite a long time, but I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. But it's not the most well prepared fleece in the world, because it started off a little bit felted. And as I say, every time I work on this fleece, I paid the appropriate price for it. So a lot of VM and a few felty bits and a few second cuts. And I'm just kind of going with the rustic look and not worrying too much about it. And, keeping a few second cuts in there. And I think it's working quite well for the shawl that I'm making. And people do keep asking me where the pattern is. It's in a magazine. It's Landscape magazine from a couple of years ago. And I can't even find who the designer is, so I can't sort of point you in the right direction, really. It's not a particularly complicated pattern. And I will try and see if I can find it on Ravelry, because it probably is on Ravelry somewhere. do a bit of Googling, see if I can find it. So quite a lot of the VM has just fallen out. A lot of it is grass seed. Obviously there was quite a lot of hay in amongst it, and what's mostly left is the grass seed from the hay. So, okay, so there you go. As you can see, a little bit rough and ready, but I can live with that. So I'm just going to carry on with these, and I'll come back to you when I'm doing a bit of spinning. I think it's fair to say I am not great at long draw. I've got lots of slubs in here and lots of thick and thin. But that's kind of how I spun the last one, so I sort of need to spin it in a similar sort of way. And oh my goodness, so many bits of grass, and goodness knows what else. Yeah, okay. Not entirely sure I want this out on the internet, because I really am spinning like I've never spun before. And, you know, that's not true. Oh, there is still so much VM and so many second cuts in this. It's untrue. Oh well. Lesson learned. There were so many good things about this fleece. It was so local. I mean, literally walking distance. And it was a shearling, and I love Gotland. But I think it just really goes to highlight that there's so many good fleeces out there that, you know, the bad ones are not worth the effort. Start with a good one. And this is my slightly weird version of long draw, because I'm not very good at long draw. Don't spin it very often. Oh, look at those slubs. Oh dear. But I mean, it's a very rustic yarn that I've got anyway. I mean, just what I spun, whenever I spun that, it was sometime in the winter. It was very kind of rustic spinning. So yes, this is it's kind of rustic spinning. Oh, I don't think you need to see any more of that. So the plan with these is chichumba, which is an Indian salad that goes with curry. So that's as much film as I got done for about, I don't know, 48 hours, something like that. I look very dishevelled. I feel very dishevelled. Just spent many hours in A&E, and not for me, for Andrew. He is fine. He had some symptoms that had to be checked out. They were checked out. They didn't find anything seriously wrong. We live in the most amazing country that has free healthcare at the point of use. so we will not go into debt because of it. We don't have to pay like massive insurance premiums each month to get healthcare. So although I'm tired, I haven't had enough sleep, he is now having a bit of sleep and I'm going to go and have a bit of sleep. Thank you, NHS, again for being amazing. The staff that work in the NHS are amazing. It was a long wait, but the people were just fantastic. And, you know, I don't like to make political comment because, you know, we all have our own political beliefs and this is not a channel about politics. But I am eternally grateful to live in a country with socialised medicine. So on that note, I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week till then.